everybody, how's it going? Happy Friday. Annette came out, she said, let's go. I think she's in my head. She knows that I was running, well, I wasn't running late, but I was running pretty close. And when I got in here, I looked at my desk and forgot that I piled a bunch of knitting books on top of my computer. So didn't allow for time to move everything out of the way. So I've just got fabric and books and knitting needles all laying on top of my computer and not in a way that I could get to it quickly. So don't forget the yarn, you name it. Yeah. Pin cushion, because it's right by my on my sewing machine desk. So time to clean it out. Cool weather is coming. Well, it's here, but cooler times and slower times are coming. So I will be able to get my little mess out of the way. It is a pretty purple. I wanted to try and make a sweater out of that. Oh, there's my alarm that I snoozed just to get my butt here. Anywho, happy Friday. Let's see here who we got. Hey, Troy Sutton, good to see you. Hey, Gwen, Broke Cowgirl Homestead, good to see you. Hello, Annette, the Cow Emporium. And hello, Juana at About 6 Acres. Good to see you guys. And I think I saw Lisa Kalovi was here as well. I thought I saw it, but when we went live, that one comment disappeared. Hey, Carla, Living a Rogue Life, sending you blessings as always. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well these days. But yeah, we are getting rain right now, which is delightful. Because I didn't have to water today. And the reason why I'm so happy is because today we pulled out our pepper plants from the greenhouses. The mobile greenhouse had whiteflies again. So I pulled out all the pepper plants because they weren't due much and I wasn't wasting my time because it's not pepper weather anymore. So if they weren't doing anything by now, your girl Lisa's learning. Usually I'm like the holdout until frost. But I'm learning. It's just a waste of my resources. So I pulled them out. I sprayed in there with some Captain Jack thingy. And then I will just disinfect it, throw the dirt out, and replace it next year in those pots. And then I also pulled out the eggplant in the main greenhouse, and I also pulled out the bell peppers. And what did I do? I harvested all the peppers that I could, even if they were immature, because I'm going to throw them all together and make a multi-variety pepper powder to add to recipes. So I think that'll be cool. That way they don't go to waste. The only ones I kept were the middle greenhouse, which is the green garbage one. We got 2.5 years out of it. It was really cheap on Marketplace, and the plastic is rotting. We cut the front of it off today because I had enough of getting in and out of there. And so what we ended up doing was, excuse me, I pulled a tomato plant out of there. The other ones have green tomatoes on it. So I'm like, if they ripen, I'll leave it, which is fine. Our goal was not for tomatoes this year. And we've had plenty from people giving us and stuff. And then I pulled a few pepper plants, but I'm getting ready to do an herb run in the freeze dryer. So I will get the basil out of there. But once that's all done, that greenhouse is going in the garbage. So we're going to have to build one. Oh, I'm glad I said that because that's got to go on my list. Let me go to the comments real quick. Yeah, it's not a lot of rain. It's like all of a sudden it's a steady shower and then stops. But I cut all the squash vines and the blossoms off today, hoping that it will encourage the plants to make my fruit ripen faster because we're up against the line here. And we're very cool right now. We're like I think we were 66 for today for the high, and I saw 42 is in the forecast for the night. So 40s at night, 60s and 70s. We've got like 2 days in the upper 70s. All the other days are 60s. And a couple days in the lower 70s for the next 10. So 42 is getting low, so we know frost will be coming. So I said, let me cut that off. So that's why I'm excited for the rain, because even though it wasn't that really heavy, without all the foliage there, the rain was able to get to the dirt, so I didn't need to water. Because when it's cool, I don't like to water as much because that's when you invite diseases in. So let's see here. Excuse me. Gwen said 100% chance of rain at midnight last night, didn't get a drop. Then this afternoon, 86% chance we got a few drops. Crazy. Carla said no rain, we cooled down a bit. Nice. Juana said I still can't get over how short your growing season is. Love how you've managed to fine tune and maximize your harvest. Yeah, we grow very basic varieties, and this was an experimental year, and not impressed with the acorn squash. I'm going to tell you, not impressed at all, but thank you. Yes, it's been 5 years of fine tuning and learning. In fact, I learned something new today, or I learned something new a couple days ago. And you're going to laugh at me because I've been growing broccoli for years. When I go out and harvest the broccoli, we really try to let the main heads go as long as possible because that's your largest bloom, right? And I've gotten really good at it. Some days I miss the mark. Other days they're like zucchini, fine 1 minute and bolt the next. Depends on the temps. Well, my mindset is always, if I'm going to go out there and I'm going to blanch and freeze, I'm going to make sure I have enough to say blanch and freeze and seal the bag. So if I have 1 bag, that's fine. If it looks like I've got 2 bags or 3, I don't want a half a bag. So I always pick the side shoots off. Well, they get a lot bigger than I've been letting them. So I'm letting them grow longer. And part of it is because this year I've not been as diligent as getting out in the garden because I'm just not feeling it. So I thought that was a cool lesson. Gwen says Sunday is our day to cool off. Our lows are mid 70s. The Cow Emporium said we were 42 last night. Oh, geez, Louise. Hey, Vase Place, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Carla said our low tonight is 79. That's delightful for you. Vase Place said our low will be 49. Not too bad. Have I made my fire cider yet? No, I usually don't make fire cider, believe it or not. I usually do really well with elderberry syrup. So I kind of go with that. Some of the ingredients in fire cider give me acid reflux, and that's why I don't make it. I know it sounds dumb, but I do better with the elderberry. And speaking of elderberry, my elderberry bush that never produced is now dead. So I pulled that out of the ground. But before we get into the gardening, no, I know, not dumb, but it's just, yeah, drinking that stuff just, it doesn't make me feel good. So I try not to do that. Good deal, Vase Place. That's awesome. So exciting news, and some of you know this already, but some of you may not. If you've seen our videos, and a lot of the times people ask me, what is that building in the back down by the meat bird pens? So usually if I pan over and you see the meat bird pens and you see the pig pastures and all that, there was a very dark wooden building that was there. It was like made out of railroad ties that were soaked in creosote and everything. And people always ask me, like, what is that building? That was an auction buy that we were going to use the wood for fencing for the pigs. Because the way it had holes in it, they're soaked, number one, that would be really good for fencing. Hey, Alfonso, good to see you. Number two, they had holes where pegs held them together, and we were thinking the holes would be nice to put wire through instead of mounting it. Anyway, long story short, it was a bad idea. We changed our minds. We never used it and everything, and we were stuck with it. Here's the cool part about it. We bought it at an auction from a friend, and what ended up happening was, like I said, we didn't use it. It was probably there for 3 years. Well, the guy who we bought it from, who had the auction, who delivered it to us, his daughter found out we still had it. It used to be her playhouse when she was a kid. So even though it looked kind of rough and it's old, because his daughter is, probably in her late 30s and has kids of her own now, she wanted it back and said, could she have it? And we said, yes, you can. So her father, who we bought it from, we know is a friend of ours, he came and got it today with her husband and took it back to their house. So I was like, that's cool. I was always convinced something was going to live in it, like a coyote or something, and I just never liked it being down there. Carla said, my elderberry bush is 3 years old and hasn't produced anything. I was thinking of pulling it up. You're supposed to have 2 of 2 different varieties, is my understanding, Carla. I had 2 when it was given to me by Sandy at Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. So I assumed that they would produce fruit. Well, the one died off and I ended up with 1. And then it came up every year and I never got fruit. So this year I said, I'm going to dig it up and give it to somebody who really wanted it and would buy another bush. Whereas I really don't have the room for large. I see how large Gwen's get. And I'm like, I can't have that there. So then when the spring came, it never came back. So today I literally just walked over and pulled it out of the ground. That's how dead it was. So I feel relieved. I think I'm going to do a row of raspberries there. It is cool, Carla. I'm really, really excited about it because it went back to someone who it meant something to, Hey, Alfonso. Yeah, so the girl took all that. It was built in a house and she took it all back. So, hey, Farm Fresh. Good to see you, Alicia. Juana says, sounds a lot like my container. Ecstatic, someone else wanted it. Yes, agreed. Gwen says, my elderberries bloom like crazy, make berries, then something eats them all before they're ripe. So maddening. Yeah, so I was really excited about that because we got that out of the way before the rain came, which was cool. We got all the garden stuff that we needed to get done. And my new organization system is I have my list on my phone. But I've decided that for the 2 of us to see it, I taped it with blue tape to the freezer, which is where we walk in and out all the time. So you can't help but miss it. And I taped a marker with the blue tape to the freezer. So that way when you open the freezer door, it's not in your way. And that's where our list is of things that we have to do before winter. So it's not big jobs. It's not silly. It's just stupid things that we need to do that we know will get done because we have some projects we need to do before it snows. But yeah, so it's really nice because right now, if I don't put anything in the greenhouse, I don't have to worry about watering them. So it was nice that it rained today because I didn't need to worry about watering the greenhouses. So what I may do is plant some seeds in greenhouse number 1 and just give that a sprinkle here and there, keep them wet, and see how it goes. But how about you guys? What's going on in your gardens? Are they done? Because I know some of that Texas heat, things are done. I will say this while I'm waiting for you guys to type in. That acorn squash is finally pollinated. I forget if I mentioned that earlier. So if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. The acorn squash has acorn squash growing. Not near enough time. But I'm like, are you kidding me? Not just the bush ones, but also the regular vine ones that I bought as a start from the local nursery. Isn't that insane? So I know I'm probably not going to get acorn, but I really I want to get one butterbush squash. And they're turning and they're looking good. They're just, we probably need till the end of September because it took so long. So I don't know, squash may be on my loofah list. So we'll see. You know, my garden is done. Yes, I know, Gwen, I know. The Cow Emporium. I'm watering corn, beans, and squash again. Oh, it's crazy. Carla said, I didn't do much with my garden this year. I have some volunteer cantaloupe that are still going good. Hope to start a fall garden. Oh, that's awesome. Volunteer cantaloupe is awesome. I hope you get some. And fall garden, it'll be much nicer. Much nicer. I mean, really. I'm sure you guys had some brutal heat down there. Juana said garden is mostly done, but we'll be prepping beds for fall and possibly planting a handful of other things. That's great. That's great. So nice to be able to get a fall garden. Hey, Sarah Risen Swine, good to see you. Happy to have you here. So yeah, so that's what we've pulled out of the garden. The piglets are doing well. They're healing beautifully. No signs of heat or lumps and bumps or hernias or anything like that. Didn't suspect there would be an issue. I mean, you can always have an issue, but didn't suspect it, given that we had a vet do it this time because he even went in there and looked to make sure that if they had any hernias brewing and stuff. And I was like, wow, like that's pretty cool. So yeah, and I swear they were 18 and 19.4 pounds when we took them, and it's been a week and a half, and I swear they've got to be close to 25 pounds because Willie's a little slow to the feed dish. And I've been trying, like, usually I go piggies, and they know that's always my thing to get them to recognize I'm the food person because we start that when they're 2 weeks old. And Johnny caught on. Willie, he's a little slow. He likes to eat with mama, which, can be dangerous because mama, it's each man for herself. So she'll squeeze them and they'll scream. It's not that she'll hurt them now because they're large enough, but so it was really, really nice that I did that with Willie today and he finally got the hint. So, but I had to pick him up. Oh, usually I pick him up and put him in the feed dish. So he screams, you put him in the feed dish and he's quiet. So, but boy, it's a two-handed deal to pick him up now. You got 6 from the volunteer cantaloupe plant? Wow, that's amazing. That's an awesome volunteer. I am too, Annette. I am too. And, priceless, as they say, priceless. just to have the peace of mind of he castrated them so they weren't afraid of us. That was a pretty cool bonus, I'll tell you. But the bigger thing was we didn't lose any. We didn't have to worry about culling any because we didn't want to have an issue. And you always worry about the complications. We don't have antibiotics because you need a script for it. Although I do have some that is outdated and I use it if needed, of course. I've got a bunch that I bought before the rule changed, but even now it's expired. And I know that's okay for some, but it's still not the right way to do things. And so it's really nice to have a vet. And he automatically gave him pain relief, gave him antibiotics. So it helped to stave off any issues, which is cool. And so in the future, we will be making phone calls right away to keep building a relationship with him, which will be good. And the guy was awesome. So, Sarah, what are you pulling out of your garden these days? I'm sure I don't know if you're planting a fall garden, and I'm not trying to single you out. We were talking about it right as you walked in, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't leave you out. But yeah, we've still got some LA 200 becomes toxic after it expires. Good to know. I usually Google that stuff before when we consider having to use it. So that's good for me to know. Thank you. I usually look it up. Is it okay to use? Is it okay to use while nursing? Is it okay to use? All that kind of thing. But it's very rare that we've had to do it. The last time we gave anything was penicillin, and that was Whalen. So that's probably coming up expired. But again, I won't have to worry about that kind of stuff because I have the vet. So, which is pretty cool. So very, very thankful for it. Because now I can at least say, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, the only thing is I'd probably have to load them up. Like if it was one of the bigger pigs, I'm going to have to load them up and take them there, which is a pain. But I think it's a $200 charge to come to the house off the bat. So it was easy with piglets because we could bring them there, and it cost me way less than $200 for the 2 castrations. So that was cool. So yeah, so we are, let's see. So we still got stuff in the overflow garden. I pulled out one row of broccoli that really wasn't doing much to give the Brussels sprouts some room to grow and some room to have airflow. Sarah said, hi, I have peaches, plums, tomatoes, basil, oregano, thyme, rosemary, acorn squash, and butternut. That's awesome, Sarah. Good deal. What a nice bunch of things to have. So I know some people cut the leaves off the bottom of their Brussels sprouts and others don't. I'm curious, does anybody know about that? Well, I know Annette does, but I'm curious what you guys think about that because last year I learned to cut them off, and I think Annette, you don't cut them off. So I'm kind of at a point where what do I do with them? Should I cut them off? Should I leave them? And the reason why I say that is I think this year it's even more so because when we get rain, they're under the shade cloth and they're getting, they stay wetter longer, which is a good thing usually, but it's not that hot. So I'm just wondering what I should do. Sarah said, I think I have delicata squash and pumpkins with beans. Very cool. I've heard of delicata squash. I've heard it's really good. So yeah, just deciding what to do there. I'm probably going to pull some zucchini and some yellow squash out. Some smaller plants that aren't doing as well. Oh, and that green Macerata cauliflower. My chickens wouldn't even eat the greens. I decided that I decided that I really didn't want the offshoots of it because I wasn't impressed with the taste, so I was just gonna pull them out. And usually I pull cauliflower and broccoli out and cabbage, and the chickens eat all that stuff. They wouldn't even eat it. I saw someone top the Brussels sprouts, forcing them to fill faster. Don't know yet. Yeah, I won't top them. I don't want to make them fill faster. I'm just wondering about cutting the leaves off the bottom so they've got more airflow. Because they survive a frost, and they get harvested after frost. So I'm not as worried about that. Excuse me. I'm more worried about I guess airflow with cooler temps. I don't want to invite disease. Thank you, Sarah. They're getting so big. Hey, Rhonda, good to see you. A little bit of everything homestead. Don't you worry about there's no late here. No late at all. We're just chatting it up, talking about the garden. Congrats on growing broccoli. You did an amazing job. Yes, you grew broccoli for the first time ever. So excited. You should be. You did amazing. You did amazing. It's just starting to reduce. Yeah, you had a lot of cucumbers too. We're getting near the end, so we're waiting to see what happens here. We're really cooled off, so we'll see what happens. But congratulations on your broccoli. I just had broccoli in a chicken divan casserole from our garden. Oh my word. We used our chicken and our broccoli to die for. Let me tell you, the broccoli is so different than eating broccoli from the store. And for me, I swear by shade cloth. Swear by shade cloth for my broccoli. Hey, Craig, good to see you. Hope you and Debbie are doing well. So yeah, so we're pulling up some things and letting them go because they're just not producing well. No sense in watering them at this point. That's kind of where we're at. I'm not ready for the winter at all. Meaning not physically ready, but not mentally ready, but I am kind of done with the garden. So I'm looking forward to having time to do other things like some fiber arts and working on stuff and some other projects. We also finally got that tree cleaned up. We had a tree we had to cut down that was really big and dead. Thankfully, we got that mess handled and moved. And now that it rained today, we should be able to move the pigs. When it doesn't rain for a while, those portable net fencing, electric net fencing, like Starkline netting and Premier One have, they're really hard to get out of the ground here and get them back in the ground. So that limits our ability to move them because it's like they get cemented in. It's so bizarre. So now that we had rain tonight, tomorrow we're going to move the boys into a new grassy area finally. Rhonda said tons and tons of cucumbers. I'm over cucumbers. I know it. That was me last year. Everybody jokes about zucchini. I can freeze zucchini. I can make stuff and freeze it. To me, zucchini, I will keep every one and use as much as I can. Zucchini and yellow squash. Cucumbers, yeah, my cucumbers took forever. And then they finally, I think we got 3 off of them this year, maybe 4. And that's it. I just leave them out there until they look like they're dying. But there's a couple more on there now. I've seen someone using a drill to pre-drill holes for their net fencing. Yeah, I could imagine that. I could imagine that because we've got the short one. We've got the hog panel. We have two sets of the original hog starter kit fencing, which has wider holes in it. And then I bought a newer version, which had smaller holes, which has worked out great for the piglets. It's actually it's supposed to keep feral hogs out, was the idea behind it. And so I have that because it has a hot wire on the bottom. It's pretty cool. Works great to keep piglets in. So that's how we keep Piggly and Wiggly last year and Johnny and Willie this year because they run around too. And it's fine. I don't mind. I like them to explore, but they can get back to mom quick. But they have that electric net and they don't dare hit it because they know all about it. Hey, Rebecca, touched by Yarn. Good to see you. Annette at the Cow Emporium said we have aphids now to join the mosquitoes, flea beetles, cabbage moths, grasshoppers, flies, and wasps. It's a bug apocalypse here. Yeah. I don't know that we've reached bug apocalypse, but I can tell you we have whitefly, mosquitoes, we had flea beetles, we had cabbage moths, no grasshopper. Well, I had 1 or 2 grasshoppers in the overflow, but they didn't cause any damage that was devastating. And we've got flies. And the no-see-ums, yeah. I tell you. So yeah, so it's going good though. It was a good, I don't know, it was a good garden year here. I mean, you had your challenges. We had flea beetles on all the brassicas. We had probably double the cabbage worms and cabbage moths, whatever you want to call them. I know the worms go to moths. We had tons of them, but they didn't seem to bother the fruit too bad. You could get rid of the outer leaves and everything was fine. Unlike where grasshoppers, I think they eat the entire head. Maybe we were just lucky. I don't know. But I know I would take the cabbages and then soak them in the sink and all the worms would come out. That's what I do with the broccoli and the cauliflower. Rhonda says we have them all, but in small amounts. The horseflies have been horrible for us. Those horseflies are horrible. Yeah, they are horrible. Do I soak your cabbage in just water or do you add something to the water? I just soak in water. And the reason why I do that is we probably remove a lot of outer leaves, which is wasteful. But I always do it to make sure I'm not getting DE or whatever else we put on there. And so I just soak them in the sink in water. And then I take them out. And then when I cut them up, like say I'm cutting it up for a coleslaw, I make sure as I'm taking the shredded cabbage, I look through and make sure I did not miss a worm. But usually at the bottom of the cabbage where the core is, so your cabbage is up there, where the leaves hook in, there's little holes. And so if I go like this a lot with the cabbage over the sink, the water will come out and sometimes worms will come out. So then if I don't see any darkness in there, then what I do is I cut it in half and I core it. Excuse me. And I look through to see if there's any in there. It's sort of like what I do. Well, the broccoli, when I blanch it or steam it, I can see the worms, and the cauliflower. But usually the cauliflower and the broccoli, I soak in bowls until I get a chance, in water in the fridge until I get a chance. Yeah, that's what I do, Annette. It seems to work. I mean, we've not had any issues. I think one time when I went to cut up a cabbage and core it, take the core out, I saw a worm down deep. But other than that, it's usually just at the bottom where it's got the gaps between the leaves. Somebody said soak them in salty water, cold salty water. I did hear that. Or they said that about broccoli. Yeah, they said that about broccoli, but my broccoli is going in. I usually blanch it in water versus steam blanch it. Because honestly, if I have if I have cauliflower, broccoli, and zucchini, a bunch of zucchini to do, I'm not going to keep do the steam for this one and do the water for this one. So usually what I do is I do the broccoli and the cauliflower first, skim out any worms that float up. Good night, Carla. Thanks for being here. Hugs to you. Good to see you too. And then if I have to replace the water, but then I replace the water before I go to the zucchini and the yellow squash. It just makes it move along quicker. I have aphid eggs on my lettuce. I soak them in vinegar water, then rinse them. Oh, smart. I think I have aphids on my dill in my raised bed, but the dill is doing what it needs to do. So it's like a trap. It's acting like a trap crop, but the lettuce is looking great. Vinegar water is a good idea. Yeah, I usually just try water, and if water works, I'm like, good, but eggs would be different. I'd be like, "Ooh." But it's been, good. We've got some good stuff. We've been harvesting some good stuff. I think the pepper powder will be exciting to make. Um, you can freeze dill heads when they are ready, something I learned last year. Yes. In fact, the reason why I know that is I freeze dried a bunch, but a friend of mine. Bye, Sarah. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. I will give the piggies a hug for you. Freezing does not kill aphids. Good to know. So, going back to what you said about freezing dill heads when they're ready, I have a friend of mine, my dill reseeds and it's way too many heads. Well, it reseeds itself every year, so I just let it and then I give a bunch away. Some I pull out by the roots, others I let go back to seed, others I cut off and all that, and I just let them do their thing. So a friend of mine was really busy last year, but she makes tons of pickles every year. And I said to her, "Do you want some dill?" She's like, "Yeah, I can't get there." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to do with them?" And she's like, I said, "Can I freeze them?" And she said, "Yeah, put them in a bag and freeze them." I just gave them to her this year because we just hadn't caught up. So that's what I did. But that's good to know about aphids. Yeah, I didn't. I don't think I had them last year, but good to know. This year, I did give people dill with aphids on it and said, "I realized these have aphids on them because I realized it when I had it in the bucket in the car." And I said, "The dill has aphids on it, and I've tried to rinse it off. Do not bring it to your garden, please." And one of them was Carrie from Harvey's, and she laughed at me and she said, "No, no, I will not." But she was happy to have the dill. So that's good. But I'm trying to think what else. So we've just got some things we've got to do. It'll be nice when we get done with the garden because then we can take the hail netting down and move on from there and see how it goes. I may bring that cayenne pepper in and try to overwinter it. And I'm going to bring the rosemary in. A little dunk in hot water gets them. Good to know. Yeah, I felt so bad because when luckily I brought it to the store and I had left it outside when I told her about it. I was going to bring it in. But I just said to her, I said, "Hey, on the way down, I realized that there were things jumping. Well, not jumping, but things were crawling on me because I had the bucket in front of me." And I said, "Don't bring them there." But other than that, it's all good. What are you guys up to this weekend? Tell me, tell me. Some of you have got cooler weather. I know Annette's got all her garden boxes she's been working on. which is always exciting, and her produce is lovely. Oh, and Annette, it looks like we're going to be getting leeks. The ones I planted in the overflow look wonderful. The ones in the IBC tote, not as great, but they're all edible, so I'm going to probably chop up and freeze. Oh, finishing a blanket for friends, then start working on a scarf. Fun stuff, Rebecca. Very fun. Rhonda said we processed 5 turkeys today. How exciting. Congratulations. I know that's always a good feeling too. I don't know if we'll end up with any turkeys this year. We'll see how it goes. I'm waiting to hear. The other day, though, if you're not on Instagram, you wouldn't have seen this, and I know Gwen's not, so I wanted to share it with her. We looked out of the corner of our eyes and saw a bunch of birds flying into the pig area where Eleanor is. And our concern was it was an eagle or a couple of eagles swooping in, right? So I went to go check on the piglets. It had to be a bunch had already landed, but it was like 10 or 12 turkeys, right? So it was hens with the teenagers from this spring. And well, now they get in, they can't get out of the fence on the back part of the pasture. So I went down there to stand there and keep an eye on them and make sure they got out, because I really don't want them in there. Outside the pasture, I don't mind. I don't want them in there if they don't need to be. So I went down there and it took them a while, but they all got out. But it was just funny because I turned around and the piglets had my back because they were right behind me. But 31 pounds. Wow. What kind of was that, like the broad breasted? What'd you raise, Rhonda? What breed? Annette, let me tell you. I seriously thought about it. And I also was having an inner battle with myself because I do believe in doing the right thing when no one's watching. But let me tell you, I wanted to capture what I could, and I could have. I chose not to, but man, I was white broad-breasted. Yes, yes. Cool. Congratulations. Say a prayer for Amanda. Safe travels. She is taking the other young mare to have 30 days put on her Monday, a good distance away. Prayers for her. I don't think I understand that though, but I mean, don't get me wrong, it's done. I pray for her, but I'm just say a prayer for Amanda. Safe travels. Done. Definitely will do that for you. She is taking the other young mare to have 30 days put on her Monday, a good distance away. Okay. Well, definitely praying for her safety. Amen. Yes. So Annette said, saying that you have to buy tags for wild birds here. We have to have a tag here too. And it's not this time of year. So that's why I was saying I tried to do the right thing. And you don't always get them. Ryan has 0 antelope, 0 deer, 0 elk, 0 elk team, 0, 0, 0 hunting tags this year. He's not impressed. Not impressed. And when it's turkey season, they are nowhere to be found. None. No tags. Dead deer all over the road. No tags. But if you live out of state, you can spend a lot of money and get a tag. Very maddening. Okay, Gwen clarified. Mare she bought the same time as Freya. She is broke, but only 4 years old, having someone ride her daily for 30 days. Thank you, Gwen. That makes a lot more sense. I really appreciate it. I'm slow. We cannot buy landowner tags for deer because we don't have the acreage. You have to have a certain amount of acreage, which is why the deer are all over my 2-ish acres, because other people have larger acreage and they know it. And he also didn't even get muzzle loader tags, which are usually readily available. I want to give you the right name for it. Hold on a minute. Ryan, what's the name of the tag system? How does it work? The point, what's it called? Preference point? Okay, thank you. South Dakota uses a preference point system. So every time he applies, I think he gets points. And at some point, he can use those as a preference. But I can tell you, I think he's only gotten a deer tag 1 year. Okay, I apologize. I got it wrong. You have to pay for the preference points. So if you pay for the preference points, you are probably more preferred in getting a tag, is what I'm assuming. Maddening. So yeah. And then the other issue is there's Forest Service land, and then there's private land. So sometimes, like, let's go with Turkey. It goes by areas, like regions. Well, some of the places that are available, you may not have access to the Forest Service land unless you know a landowner. And you're not going to walk across private land here without permission. So, nor should you anywhere, but anyway, yes. My dad got a tag this year and had no business applying. Bull elk. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Crazy. We've never seen anything like it till we moved here, because Ryan's been applying since 2019. He's been applying because he had a residential, well, he had an address here. So in 2019. Yeah, other states are just like that, Gwen. So true. When he got the so far what he's gotten was, in the past 5 or 6 years, he got a deer tag, and he got a buck. He got an antelope tag for a different area than here. He got an antelope. And he got turkey tags 1 year. Didn't get anything. And then I think muzzle loader, and didn't get anything. So, and none of the people we know got them either. I guess archery, you can get them easier, but not interested. So, very frustrating. So we will see. We even tried putting in as a team for elk. So I was telling Annette that, I think it was Annette, but I was telling somebody about Custer State Park has a bison hunt, and they take you to, it's non-trophy. They take you and show you, what's non-trophy. They take you where they are so you can shoot them. Once you shoot them, they will load it up on something on their equipment or vehicles. And then you have to be prepared to have something to offload it onto. And then you have to pay like thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars to the park to leave with it. And then you have to process it. So we, because I told him, look into that. I said, maybe that would be really cool. We would be able to get bison. We got people we could share it with, people who would help us. That's not an option either. So that's all right. We keep trying. We keep trying. All right, everybody. It's about 10 of an hour. So I'm going to call it good. Tanner would do it to make jerky. Yes. Yes. Bison jerky is to die for. In fact, much better than beef. It is just so amazing. So amazing. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a wonderful long weekend. Like Annette, aside from the farmer's market, we are going to avoid town. Avoid town and not go there except for the farmer's market because we need a few things we want to make. But I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hey, Joe, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Thanks for being here.